And that's why we should still be in Afghanistan.
Right now is the time for me to leave everything I know behind.
If you trip over, I'll catch your fall. If you kick my dick, I won't break your balls. If you get drunk and vomit on me, I'll make sure you get home safely. If you cross the road and a drunk struck you, I'll scrape you up and reconstruct you. I'll cheer you up if you're depressed. If you get murdered, I'll avenge your death. Hey, friends. We're Greg, Brian, and Joshua individually, but together, we're the Rabbit Fighters. 3 workmates who became 3 work friends, who became 3 actual friends, who then tragically became podcast hosts.
Nobody feels bad for us.
My condolences.
So on this episode, we're talking friendship. The A24 2025 feature-length directorial and screenwriting debut of one Andrew DeYoung. Have you heard of Andrew DeYoung?
No,
Yeah,
Is this
right out of left field.
Question or
Yeah, no, I hadn't heard of him.
was one meant to answer it?
Yeah, he's done a bunch of TV shows and such, but this is the first time he's doing one for the big
I
screen.
meant to look up if he was like a writer on I Think You Should Leave, but
He was not. He wrote
was
a
not?
couple episodes of AP Bio, like my favorite episode of AP Bio. So
I don't know what the hell AP Bio is.
me either.
it's a show.
I started thinking he was like a cipher. He was just like a made up AI.
Yeah.
pseudonym
Andrew
or
DeYoung
something.
doesn't sound like a real name. Yeah.
No.
But he wrote Friendship and directed Friendship, his first foray onto the big screen. Friendship stars Tim Robinson of SNL, Detroiters, and I Think You Should Leave fame. Paul Rudd of Wet Hot American Summer fame, and Kate Mara of House of Cards fame.
Cards?
That's the only one I know her from.
A million things.
Yeah.
Same thing with like Paul Rudd.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Paul Rudd
No, he's
from
only been in one
everything.
thing. Wet Hot American Summer. That's it.
And
that's it?
Ant-Man. Yeah, I know.
He was in a Marvel.
From Ghostbusters Afterlife. Paul Rudd.
From Clueless, Paul Rudd.
Oh shit, he was in Clueless, wasn't he?
I'm actually kind of disappointed that I thought we were just gonna chop on and talk about being friends.
The concept of friendship?
Yeah, just the concept of like what it feels like to have friends, you know.
I wouldn't know.
Webster's defines friends as.
I even used the AI and I was fine, trying to come up with concepts and questions.
Hey robot, what's a friend?
Individuals engaged in convivial behavior.
Hey Claude, do you want to be friends?
What is this friend?
That's actually you bring up kind of an interesting question. I don't know if I've ever seen anything in the theaters 3 times. Like, I was like, have I seen anything? Like twice, definitely.
Twice. We saw
3?
Indiana Jones, the first one, in the theater twice, I think.
Yeah, 3's
Star
pushing
Wars,
it though.
Star Wars probably, yeah. But like that was back in the day when like you just didn't expect it to ever be existing again. You'd be like, Star Wars is out.
Better catch it
while it's here, or never see it again in your lifetime.
Now there's series of Star Wars
true.
I've never even heard
Star
of
Wars
before.
is-
There are so many like spin-offs now. I'm like, I can't even keep track of what's going on in
People are
the
like,
Star
Clone
Wars.
That's the best one, the Clone Wars. I'm like, I've never seen the Clone Wars, and I'm not really.
I keep hearing about this like a Shokai or something. I'm like, what? Like,
That's terrible.
It isn't. I don't think it's terrible, but it just exists. It's not like we watched it and I was like, oh, this sequence is entertaining, but it isn't something like Andor where you're like, holy shit, this is really good.
that was another one I have.
Andor is really good. I haven't seen season 2. Yeah.
Well, we're not here to talk about Andor. We're here to talk about the franchise Friendship, the first installment of the franchise, because it's going to be like 6 and then prequel to find out where Craig comes from. So does someone want to give the synopsis? What's the plot?
I'm not even gonna try. So you guys are.
I will attempt to summarize it. There's a man, and he is sort of a boring, like suburban dude, and played by Tim Robinson. And he plays Craig Waterman. Is that
water something?
Craig Waterboys, and he is he works for an app company that tries to keep people addicted to apps, and so he's just sort of a low key cog schlub man in the machine of app world. And he's married and he has a kid, and you don't really get how he's married and how he has a kid because he just doesn't seem to be much of a human being.
The prequels will
Yeah,
go
yeah.
deep into
And
that.
then he's living his boring existence, and then one day the magical element appears in his life in the form of a package that was intended for his new neighbor Austin, played by Paul Rudd. And his wife says, basically to get him out of the house, probably, why don't you take this out of the house and bring it to the new neighbor? And unlike many people like myself today, who got a misdelivered package that was supposed to go to my neighbor, unlike most people who would just leave it on the doorstep and go, he knocks on the door, and Paul Rudd shows up with his soul patch and casts his magic spell over this
So
Tim
charming.
Robinson's character, and from there a budding bromance blossoms in a series of hangs. They have a series of good hangs involving going through the sewers, busting into the mayor's office, smoking herbal cigarettes for no apparent reason. He watches the Austin guy is in a band. He's also a weatherman, and he watches this guy's band play. He watches him on TV, and Craig becomes kind of obsessed with him. In kind of a single white male type scenario, and then after offending his friend group, Austin's friend group, Craig gets banished from the group, abruptly banished. Essentially, Austin breaks up with them as if they were in a relationship. He says, I do not wish to continue this relationship anymore. And from there, we get to that place where the hero of the story starts to spiral down the toilet drain slowly and more dramatically, and the drain spirals wider and wider as it goes toward the bottom, and you're taken along on this very uncomfortable, very like dark and sort of horrific and sad and depressing sort of spiral toward the end of this man's existence as a functioning human being. And that's pretty much the story. Yeah.
I feel like you did it justice there. Yeah. It's definitely, I mean, it's Tim Robinson style humor. Brian, I think you asked, is this just simply a extended version of a I think you
Yes.
should leave sketch? I don't know. After finishing it, what do you think? You think it's still think it's a
it's
one
close.
extended
I mean,
sketch? Or?
it's not a sketch per se, but I mean, you could if you do watch, I think you should leave. There's some like sketches that turn dark, and it's kind of feels a little bit like that, where it starts off light and it gets really dark very quickly, and then it kind of spins off like a top into absurd shit. I mean, so it's not like an hour and 40-minute long sketch, but it's. I was actually surprised that why I said the director slash screenwriter didn't write for them, because it is so Tim Robinson that it's not even like him being an actor like playing a part. It's his brand of
Yeah,
comedy
1000%.
slammed into this screenplay. So which made me
Yeah.
think, did he write this? Or unless the director was just like, I love what you do, just fucking have at it, because
That's
this
what
is
happened.
all him. Because
Yeah. Gave me the bones and
because
was like,
it's not like
this is
like Jim Carrey doing Eternal Sunshine or something. It's like a comedic actor doing a dramatic
Right.
part. It's like, hey, we want Tim Robinson to do that sketch show character and jam him into my screenplay. So
Yeah. Well, he says, the director says he wrote everything. Almost nothing was improvised. That Tim Robinson and a couple like Paul Rudd and a couple other people would insert things here or there, like they'd change a line or like change a word or something like that. But he was like, they stuck pretty close to the script, and Tim doesn't really like to improvise very much, even though he's good at it. He likes to stick to scripts. But he said he wrote this with Tim Robinson in mind, having been friends with him already. Like they went to A.D. Bryant's like wedding and met there, and like spun off this
banged out a
friendship
screenplay in
from there. Yeah. And like he got this
Yeah.
idea during the director got this idea during the pandemic, when he had been like brushed off by a new friend and was like, fuck, what's wrong with me? And was starting to spiral. And then he was like, I don't think I've ever seen a comedy or a movie of any kind where two heterosexual men like break up. Like, you know, I don't think I've ever seen that. So I'm going to write that. And that's
Isn't
what I
that
read
like I
about
Love
this.
You Man, which also starts Paul Rudd?
I haven't seen I Love You Man, so I can't tell you. I can't tell you that one. I think I've seen only about a third of Paul Rudd movies. There are so many Paul Rudd movies.
A third. That's
He's
still
in
a lot.
everything, man. Like,
Paul Rudd movies.
Yeah.
just watch the Ghostbusters
Lord.
movie. I'm like, Paul Rudd is in this? What the
It's
fuck
like 30
isn't he
movies.
in? You know, like he's
Yeah, I wonder how many acting credits are to his now. I bet it's
a
insane.
lot. Yeah, he's on a lot of stuff, and he often plays Paul Rudd. You know,
He plays Paul Rudd.
I can't think of many instances where he isn't Paul Rudd. You know, so yeah,
He plays Paul
he
Rudd
does.
really
It's
well.
a good product.
He
Yeah,
has
he's really good at it.
142 acting credits.
Oh my god. Yeah. But like, you know, when he's on, like, he's the reason Ant-Man is good. You know, like I thought Ant-Man was gonna suck,
Yeah.
and I'm like, oh no, it's good. Like he's good in it. Like he makes it funny, you know. So yeah, I'm for him. He's good.
Yeah, he's funny.
Thanks for ruining Ant-Man for me. I wanted to go into that Marvel with
This is a no
fresh.
spoiler zone.
No spoilers.
Get the fuck out. Ocean View Dining clothing was very much I think you should leave stuff where you're like, what
Yeah.
the fuck? And he's like, they also make food.
Absolutely. It's that exact same sensibility, but I think the way I thought about it was it's the real life consequences of an I think you should leave character. It's as if he's the one I think you should leave character, except for maybe Connor O'Malley dropping in at during the party, and everyone else is just sort of like, who the fuck is this freak? Like that is in our midst.
It's funny. The movie started, and it's like a hard focus on his wife, talking about her cancer treatment and her, you know, recovery, and like, she's like, you know, I'm worried. Is it coming back? And he sticks his little head in and goes, "It's not coming back," or whatever, you know, however he says it. I was like, he's already not a person in this film, you know, like it's a really realistic. It's like someone inserted an I think you should leave, you know, gif into a fucking movie, and I was like, what the fuck? Why is his head in here? And then they pan back, and all the people look normal and real except this guy, and you're like,
I had that. It's funny. I had that same reaction where I wasn't really sure how the tone was going to be. I mean, there's that one thing where she's like, I can't, I want to orgasm again. He's like, I'm having no issues. But the one that I thought was funnier, that was like the son kisses the mom on the mouth. He's like, you're kissing each other on the mouth.
Yeah,
now?
that
was really
it goes unanswered. Like nobody responds to him, and he's just like, is this crazy?
That was Kate Mara's idea. The director said that she was like, what if he kisses me in the mouth and we have this weird Oedipal thing happen? And he was like, okay, let's see.
But it's never come back to again. It's never.
No, but it recurs though. Like he
really
sits there and kisses her and does her flower arrangements. You know, he's like, these are so beautiful, Mom. You know.
And then when the son has the weird girlfriend come over, Craig's like, you replaced your mom pretty fast.
Yeah, I know. But you know.
You want to go to a bar? It's a school day and I'm 16.
Yeah. It's Rick's bar too. Like you'd even want to go there if he was of age.
He has to eat the SEAL Team 6 lunch.
That's total. I think
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. There's so much. That's why I say it's like a giant sketch. I mean, it's the writing sometimes. Yeah, it's like sprinkled in. There are pieces of a movie. Like there's a through line, but then it is interesting because it does start off like almost somewhat normal in a way, and then once it kind of starts spinning off the rails, you're like, oh, this is like Tim Robinson 1,000%. You know, just yelling. You know, when he starts spiraling out of control. But
he has it. I think there are differences. You can tell he didn't write this. I can tell he didn't write this because he keeps coming up with interesting ways to get in and out of and back in and back out of situations in his sketches where he just keeps you guessing and you don't know where it's going to go. You know, like the zigging and zagging is more like entertaining for me in the sketches. Whereas this movie just feels like a slow eventual spiral down the toilet where you can see everything coming all the way down. And I don't feel like it is as surprising. They throw surprising things in there, like she gets lost in the sewer, and like you're it
Intentionally.
strains credulity a little, you know, where you're just like,
Mhm.
because they're going, it's less like a sketch comedy, like a sketch where you can really, really kind of turn your brain off about reality and just like accept whatever absurdity is, because he shot this like a drama. It looks like a drama. He has ominous music underneath it. It's dark. There's snow falling all the time. It's like this, you know, Chekhovian, you know, drama, um, with comedy bits in it. So when weird shit happens that you can't explain, it does strain the movie a little, where you're like, I mean, how many tunnels are there? 4? You know, I'm like, how did she get lost for like fucking 2 days? You know, like she couldn't hear him screaming like a day, you know, the two.
Oh no, I took that as it was intentional. She was like that moment where he loses his
Yeah,
phone, or it was before he loses his phone, but he gets her up there, and then he's like struggling to get up there. He's like, "Just go ahead,
yeah,
I'll catch up." And she has this look on her face, and it's like that "oh shit" look on your face, like he's in big trouble. Like I thought she was gonna try and murder him, but she just like okay, and then she disappears into the darkness. I felt like that was intentional. She's like, she's not really lost, but she's either just avoiding him, or she's just gonna find herself in the tunnels, and leave him out to dry. Like this is her goodbye.
yeah, I don't know.
Like fuck you,
Because
I'm
she
out of
was
here.
so
Like
resistant to being there in the first place. She's like, I just want to go. Are we walking in piss? And he's like, some of it. Like that was funny. But I don't know. And then
and the first time he was in the tunnels,
I
it
know.
seemed so exciting, and it's just like, oh, we're in these tunnels. And the second time, it's like, is that
Yeah,
piss?
totally. And
It's an adventure.
he's like yelling at her.
In fact, their relationship is the one thing I think, or the big thing that strains
Yeah.
credulity for me. Like how they
No,
ever
yeah,
became a
no.
couple is
Yeah.
Come on.
mind-boggling. It just doesn't
He's
make
such a
any
fucking
sense
bozo.
at
Yeah,
all.
he's such a clod, you know. And like they try to explain it by,
It would never happen. It would never
they
happen.
try to explain it by being like, she was like, you know, my mom stayed married to my narcissist dad forever, and I promised I wasn't going to do that. I think that was them trying to explain how she got stuck in a similar situation, but you're just like, nah, she's too with it. This guy's a fucking bozo.
You know, I get that, but they never would have
Exactly.
started dating.
Yeah.
Like they never would have. Like,
Yeah.
like,
There's stuff like
anything
you know, when
there.
she's like,
So
there's stuff in this where they pull a surprise out of nowhere that doesn't pay off for me. Whereas I think you should leave usually does. Like usually the surprises in those sketches are like, oh, you know, like the old man who's like, you know, I used to be a piece of shit. And you're like, that's good. That's a good surprise. Like that's fun. In this one, she's like, you know, I had an orgasm in the sewer, and you're like, no.
You're like,
What the
what?
fuck? You know, like this is writing. You can see the writing sometimes in this movie where you're like, you just wanted this weird moment to happen. And so she had an orgasm in the fucking sewer. Like, this lady? No. Give me a break. I thought she was going to say, like, Austin came in and fucked me in the sewers. Yeah, she was like, I was sitting there and I had a moment of awakening. And you're like, no.
My body was vibrating or something.
Yeah.
There's like this touch, and I was actually really surprised it didn't go this direction. There's like this, it's always like teetering or like kind of tinkering with this like weird metaphysical thing, and I was like, oh, is it gonna be or like a dream type, like his nose is bleeding, or they stare at the flower and is that supposed to be something, or the tunnels, and I'm like, oh, is this gonna divulge into some sort of like alternate reality type thing or metaphysical thing? And then it never does, and you're like, oh, all right. Like you feel like, you know what I'm trying to say, like it has like this feel to it, like not magic,
Mhm.
but like it's got this thing going on to it, like a weird sci-fi angle, and you're like,
the very
okay,
beginning.
Yeah, and you're like, nothing happens.
When he pulls out the axe head from his package, that is the package that Craig delivers to his house.
Yeah.
When Austin pulls out the axe head and he's like, imagine yourself on the plains, and it's like, you know, and like, and then he starts bleeding. His nose bleeds immediately after, and he's like, oh, and they point out a couple times like, this never happens. This guy never has nosebleeds. It does feel like an early writer's script to me in a lot of ways, you know, where you're like you're reaching for strange things, and you're reaching for narrative moments that are gonna seem different and set your thing apart, you know, from the other stuff that you've seen.
And it does. And now that I think about it a little bit more, the other characters are kind of just afterthoughts in a weird way. Like there's Paul Rudd and there's Tim Robinson, but like everyone else is just kind of like fodder. Like
I think the wife is a very important character, and the son is a slightly less important character. But like all the hang guys and the guys at his job, they're extras in a sketch.
But even the wife, I mean, like, what's the, you know?
Oh, she goes through a lot. Yeah, I mean, I feel she goes through more than anyone, I think.
She sheds a lot of light on his like just perpetual outsiderness. Her love affair, or her like affair thing that's going on the side with the firefighter. That in the beginning you're just like, oh, that's kind of weird, and he suspects that something's going on, and the audience is sort of like, yeah, there's something obviously going on there. Yeah, she's hanging out with her hot firefighter ex-boyfriend, and wistfully looking off into the window when his name gets brought up. You know, Dylan, my ex-boyfriend. And then at the like a reunion, like when she escapes from the sewer, and they have a huge party, and he gets up there and just speaks of her like they are married. All of like, she's there as a bigger character. Yes, I would say definitely she's like top tier, but almost everything that she goes through is a platform for Tim Robinson's character to look even lesser because of it.
She actually like. She goes through some stuff though. Like she starts out like being like, I'm with this guy. You know, he's okay, I guess. And then, you know, starting to go off the deep end a little bit.
You don't know my schedule.
And I think it's a good scene where I think it's a really good scene. And this movie has a few of these where people just speak really directly to each other. Like when Paul Rudd breaks up with him, he's like, we had a couple good hangs. I don't wish to continue this friendship.
I want to use that later in my life.
Yeah, I know.
You know what? I just don't really want to continue this friendship any longer.
Yeah, it's super direct and really
people
painful.
Need rules.
And she does the same thing. She's like, I watched my mom stay with my narcissistic dad forever, and I'm not going to do that. I'm moving out. I'm going into Devin's pool house or garage or whatever the hell it was. And
the second, like, she sets up that by turning on a lamp behind her head. And then, like, the second she does that, you're like, oh shit, this is a real conversation about to happen here. And then goes right into it. So well delivered.
I like direct scenes like that. So I think that was a really good scene. And it's a really good scene for her.
Yeah, agreed.
And it really, she has an arc in this, which is cool. A lot of times the women in comedies don't. But this isn't really a comedy. I would argue it is a drama.
You wouldn't call this a dark comedy?
I would call it a drama with comic elements in it. Honestly, I wouldn't even really call it a comedy or a dark comedy. It's just, to me, it's just a drama with funny shit that happens sometimes. Like,
I don't know. I think it's too absurd to be dramatic.
It's dark as fuck, man. It's really dark.
Yeah, but it's like, it's goofy.
And I think it's both.
There's no like realism to this drama. It's like Fatal Attraction with dudes in comedy.
Yeah.
Like, that's all, you know.
I mean, I don't think it's that funny, honestly. I
laughed a lot.
I read interviews where they were like, oh, at the opening, you know, showing of this at a film festival, like, people were laughing for like 3 minutes at a time, and I was like, when? Like,
I thought it was funny.
I don't think it was that funny, man. I thought it was just fucking sad.
Yeah. I saw a lot of the headlines at the beginning that were like, it's the funniest movie ever made, and I did not come away thinking it was the funniest movie ever made. I did not think it was like even the funniest thing in Tim Robinson's catalog. But there were definitely some scenes where I was dying. Like, I just thought it was so funny. There were lines that were delivered that I was like, mwah, that was amazing. The drug scene, the lick and the toad scene, I lost it. I lost it at the end of that. That was funny. Beautiful. When I let my hair down and T-Boy.
That character was awesome, actually. that character's dialogue that he got. But like I really like that kid too. I was like, this whoever the fuck this kid is, man. I looked him up a little bit. He's been in a couple things.
Did you want to take him to Rick's bar?
Yeah, totally. No, I was like, this kid is really good. And he's got just a super deadpan, like android like face, and he says all this wild shit, with like not even really like a twinkle in his eye. He's just like, I love you.
Enjoy the journey, man.
I love you.
Yeah, you're going to die. You're going to feel indescribable pain and highs so high. Yeah. And then I'm going to go get some food because it's my lunch break.
Get some food because it's my lunch break.
And he's like, no, can you please stay with me? He's like, I'm sorry, I can't. I need to get Rolos and a Red Bull.
Rolls and a Red Bull. I love it. He's like, I'm squeezing the toe too hard.
You're going to squeeze, you're going to pop it.
Pop it.
Wait, you said it's not a comedy. Meanwhile, you're laughing at all these.
No, I'm saying
masterful.
Like, I think
masterful.
it's a drama with comic moments in it. I didn't say there wasn't any comedy in it. I'm just saying like they're few and far between. The first time I laughed in this movie was when he ran into the glass door and then it exploded behind him. That was fucking funny, and unexpected in a great way. But then it was just like, I mean, like him saying, we should see this new Marvel. I hear it's nuts. Is like, ha ha, funny. It's like, it's funny. And Ocean View dining clothes. You're like, that's a chuckle. And the toad is hilarious. That whole scene, it's so uncomfortable where he's like, basically, it's like he's hitting on the fucking, Verizon store kid. Like both times he's there, he's like,
what did he say? It was so like teenage, like 25. What teenage girls look like they're 25. It must be the same for dudes. It's like that is.
Well, that's
so
where
bizarre,
that's where I was agree with Greg. Like I think what I loved about that scene and then the toad scene is that actor, the kid, that he plays it so like deadpan and like where it's clearly like Tim Robinson's being awkward and you would think like, oh, it sounds like he's hitting on the kid. Yeah. But the kid's just like, oh no, I can't. Like he just plays it like so serious, like, oh, I'm no offense, but hey, if you ever want anything stronger, let me know. He just plays it so normally.
That scene is uproariously funny in my opinion. But then there's not a lot of that in this movie, man.
There's a lot of funny moments. The part where he eats the mushrooms and he pukes in the cup. Where he's like trying not to be sick and he's like I guess I'm leaning more towards the just because the writing is comedic to me, or it's like, thanks for the baked potato. He's like, I didn't know you had one.
I know, that's what I mean though. They're little funnies, but which is unusual.
But that's all I think you should leave is little funnies, like this awkward cringe shit.
Hot dog guy though, like in the hot dog scene, where he busts through the Wienermobile, like there's really funny fucking uproarious shit, and I think you should leave.
Yeah, but that's just as absurd as him breaking into the house and pulling out a golden gun and start waving it around.
I hated that scene though. I fucking hated it. I was like, get the fuck out! Get the fuck out! What are you fucking doing?
But that's the point. That's the point.
Fucking house.
It's pretty funny.
I hate it when
you're supposed to be uncomfortable.
That shit happens though, man.
But that's his whole entire brand of comedy is
idiot,
uncomfortable.
Yeah, I get it. But
we don't have a lot of time left. So what did you like about this? And then we'll go to what didn't you like?
I appreciate you keeping us on track.
I'll go first. What I really, really liked about this movie that jumped out at me was the cinematography. I felt it was very like the palette. There's the same like sort of greenish palette throughout all of it. The actual cinematography, the way that the shots are like framed, I just loved. Like it was very Wes Anderson-esque, I guess is probably why I feel that way. The soundtrack was great, and there were just so many scenes. There were like some cool camera wipes that would occasionally come in. There are lots of little things that reminded you like this is an indie film. When you think you're in and I think you should leave sketch, you're like, oh no, I'm watching a movie. That's right. Back to the film. That's probably the biggest thing that other than the friendship and his just like adoration of Paul Rudd throughout the entire thing. He has this puppy dog look in his eyes throughout the entire movie. I like that it made me uncomfortable in all the right spots.
In your pants.
In 3 different sets of pants in 3 different in theaters.
I'm pretty fresh coming off of this. I kind of left it thinking, is it a good movie? I have to like, I think I need to stew on. No, in the sense like it's funny. I enjoyed it. I thought it was funny. Like, but I thought it was funny in that how I think you should leave is funny. Like, you know, that like I could see myself rewatching it, and then there's some lulls in it. I feel like it needs to be one or two things. It needs to be the real movie, like a real movie, or it's like a giant comedy sketch to me. So I feel like it doesn't do a great job of making it a believable story that it's going to be a movie or a film. It's like, to me, it feels like a 1 hour and 40-minute sketch in a sense, like but it's elongated and you got additional characters. It's not just like, so I still trying to grasp like whether I think it's a good movie.
You're supposed to be telling what you like about it.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, obviously, I enjoy Tim Robinson's brand of comedy. I think that's great. I guess I don't really can't comment on the cinematography. So I'm still trying to wrap my head around whether I think it's good. Like I definitely would watch it again, but I also feel like now that I know, like, is it going to age well, like rewatching a sketch kind of thing? So a good example would be, I'm kind of my parallel would be like Wet Hot American Summer in a weird way. Like you see it a couple times and you're like, I don't know if I really get this. And then, I mean, or you think it's funny. And like, the more you watch it, you're like, this is the greatest fucking movie, like comedy I've ever watched. Like it is so nuanced and ridiculous that it's like, then it becomes endlessly quotable. And then people, that have seen it quote it. And it's like one of those type of things. So I'm like wondering, I think it's that. I feel like it's just, something you can play off of in a weird way, but I wouldn't go out on a limb and say like, this is this great movie you have to see. I would say if you're a fan of his brand of comedy, you might enjoy it. I don't think if you enjoyed his like, you'd probably hate this movie. Like if you didn't think like, if you didn't like uncomfortable or absurdist comedy, you'd be like, this is probably couldn't sit through this thing. But
yeah. I think it is divisive.
Maybe that's a better word. I could have just said it's divisive, but like you said, Greg, you took your son to go see it and he's like, he hated it. Like, I think if you don't think this stuff is funny,
we got to talk about that.
You would be like running for the door.
Yeah. And my son, I did show my son a bunch of I Think You Should Leave sketches, and he did think a bunch of them were funny. Some of the later season stuff, he was like, I don't get this or like it. But, there were plenty of sketches that he was like, that was good. Like the skeletons came to town and like the hot dog guy and like, there were a bunch of them that he did think were funny. And I took him to the theater in this. I was just sitting next to him and he was just like dead silent the whole time. When he walked through the sliding glass door, we were both like, oh, that's funny. We kind of looked at each other. We were the only people in the theater, by the way. It's just him and I.
Oh, and, yeah.
So like, yeah, I was like, I have to see this again because it was like bringing your friend to something that you like.
Yeah.
And they're like, this sucks. And you're like, oh, fuck. I feel like I'm on the hook. Even though he's my son.
Yeah. So like, I only like country music.
I'm on the hook for this. You're like, sorry, I took you here. You didn't like it. And he's like, it sucked. Oh my God. It was depressing. Fuck this movie. So I was like, I have to see it again. I have to see it again.
And
I Think You Should Leave twice too.
Good way of putting it. Like, it's a movie, just like an album that you would show and or give to a friend and want them to be like, okay, I know we're on the same comedic wavelength and we're going to think this is funny together. But if you have that friend and you're like, they don't think I Think You Should Leave is funny, or like you want them to, but then you show them a sketch and they just don't get it. And you're like, why don't you get this? Like, this is hilarious. Like they don't think it's funny. And you're like, fine. Like, I'm going to go with my friends that do think this is funny.
We've had some good hangs, but I don't want to be in this relationship anymore.
I think I was home for Christmas or something, and I was trying to show my brother some I Think You Should Leave sketches, like the hot dog one. I was like, this is funny, right? Like, this is going to be so funny. He was like, just watching it. I did the same thing with your son. I'm like, why don't you like this? This is so funny.
I know, yeah.
What is wrong
with you?
But I was like, it'll affect my opinion of something too. Yeah, you're like, oh shit. But so like I was like, I have to see this again, by myself, not with my son around, not with anyone else who would like judge it, and give it a fair headspace, chance the second time around. But yeah, I felt the same way after it the second time that I felt the first time, where it just depressed the fuck out of me for the most part. I think I honestly think like the movie needs more creative tension. Like I really wish Tim Robinson were more involved or that he wasn't there. If Tim Robinson was co-creator of this thing and they each had their own ideas and there was some creative tension between the writer and Tim Robinson and the way that he wants to do things, I think that would have sparked some more interesting things in this movie. But I think it's just, Tim Robinson playing company man for the director, and the director is, still figuring out his craft and stuff like that. So like Paul Rudd and Tim Robinson were both like less interesting to me than they usually are. And I think they were supposed to be more interesting in this. But like DeYoung in an interview was saying, oh, I think I always had Craig in mind. Tim in mind for this because I feel like he has the acting range of Daniel Day-Lewis. And I was like, what? No, he does not.
Yeah.
he does not. He's the same dude and everything.
Yeah, I agree. I just to quickly interject there, I think to your point, I think it's Paul Rudd and Tim Robinson doing Paul Rudd and Tim Robinson.
Yeah, so, ish, but like less fun versions of themselves, at least for me.
But I'm saying, like, to your point, like it'd be interesting if they had two other. I think that was what I was trying to make. The point I was trying to make earlier was if you had other actors that weren't known for a certain brand of comedy or something, and then doing it, like I'd be curious if that would pay off differently. Because I would have, if you had told me, I'd bet $1,000 that Tim Robinson was involved in writing this, and you told me that he wasn't, I would be, now that I know that he wasn't, I was incredibly shocked. I mean, I feel like he could have, if he wrote this, like he's so himself in it, which is his brand.
Yeah, same. So what did you guys think of how it ended? Like the wrap up?
I was trying to, it felt very similar to something else, and I couldn't put a pin in it, but I like the ending of that. Again, he like throws his little Tim Robinson gags, and he does it all throughout the movie where drops his phone, he's like fuck, like that, like type of stuff. And he even does it at the end where he's like, you called the cops rats, like you fucking rats, I called the cops. like that kind of thing. It's funny. It's like he pops, you
got a new guy,
like his little,
what was his name, like Jim?
Jump with an eye. It's Jim.
Jim.
So
like, that was funny. That was I think you should leave.
I really appreciate it. I love the fact that he liked Paul Rudd's character so much that like he was willing to like protect him while he's putting his toupee back on. He's like, with the gun. I was like, that's pretty. Oh, he's still admiring you. Like he still loves this guy. Okay,
he's still.
But the ending with. Do you mean just how he like the arrest and like, or he gets like the dream sequence thing, or
no, just the like. How they wrapped everything up. Yeah, there was a dream sequence where for a second you're like, oh shit, it was a dream. And before that, he buys the minivan and it seems like they're going to get the relationship back together. And then the car pulls out, the music swells, and then there's this like pan in. And, the entire time I'm like, it ain't over. It ain't over. It ain't over. There was a gun.
Yeah.
The gun didn't go off. Where's the gun? And then it comes roaring back in. And then the punk rock music comes. Yeah, Chekhov's gun. But then, and then it all goes into that final scene where he holds up the place. He just waltzes right up. Everyone's like, who the fuck's that guy? He's like, I'm just going to take a moment of your time. And then he pulls out the gun and then shit goes down. And then there's a moment in the back of the van or in the back of the police car where after he's arrested where he's imagining that night where it all went wrong and then
redoing
it goes differently and everyone's giving him high fives and catch you later.
The ending where he winks at him, the interview with the director, he was like, oh, like that moment is so important because it's like they're going to be friends. And I was like, no, they're not.
No, they're absolutely not.
They're not going to be. He's like, well, now they've seen through each other's weaknesses and like they can actually be friends now. I'm like, okay, first of all, this guy's never going to see the fucking light of day again.
No.
Like, this is like Breaking Bad, or he just like, he's in the back of it. He threatened to murder all these people. A gun went off. He broke into people's houses. He fucking threatened the mayor. But also that scene where he threatens the mayor, it's like supposed to be funny, but like, just comes out of nowhere, and you're like, what? I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna kick your ass. And then he's working for the cops, like as a ticket, giving ticket. I'm like, they would never fucking hire this guy. He's like City Hall would hire this guy to give people fucking parking tickets. Like, no way in hell this guy would have been in jail like 4 times over.
Yeah, I can't disagree with that statement that they're going to be friends
No,
more. Like
no,
that's just the whole Wink thing. It just underscores the character flaw in Paul Rudd and his character because he's so weak. Like he hates this guy so much, he doesn't want to hang out with him, but he's so vain about being his whole career hinging on him being bald,
yeah,
or not being bald and hiding it from everybody. That now he's got some information on him, so now he tries to be friends with him again or make it seem like they're friends. But then at the end, he's being arrested, and he winks at him. Like that's just him leading him on.
Yeah.
Like the dude's a psycho. Your instinct should be like, we're done. I don't want them anywhere. He's a danger, a physical danger to me, and I'm gonna lead him on even more to do what? Like write me crazy letters from prison now, and one day when he gets out, actually come and murder me, because that's what's gonna happen with that Wink dude.
Yeah, the gun went off and everything. Like it's fucked.
Yeah, they're not gonna be friends.
No, no, and it's the same thing as when he calls him at the office and he's like, "Hey, Craig, that's our little secret, okay? Hey, my brother, right? Yeah, the little wig thing. That's our secret, right? Because that could really ruin my life." And he's like, "Oh yeah, it's our secret. It's our secret." I agree with you. I think that's exactly what the Wink thing is at the end. Like,
but the Paul Rudd character arc is bizarre because he starts off being kind of like hippie-ish, like, "Hey man, what are you doing?" And he's like, "Nothing. Let's go on an adventure midday." And like he's super cool and weird, and all of a sudden he's like, "Boom, I'm a weatherman, and now I have this really job, and now you're obnoxious and like you're bothering me." And it's like, but you were the one starting the whole relationship.
The idea that the day weather is so much harder than night weather.
Well, so insane. I think it's like the morning shows or like what everyone watches, right? And then it's like your dad barely paying attention at night in the TV. Also, like
I've never put a second of thought into that world at all, and so it was just really funny to have that as an arc.
Yeah.
But you're right. It's just like the pressure of that was like driving Paul Rudd's character to be. He's really loose and cool, and he's got a band at night, and like he's fun to be around. But now the pressure is on because he has a real job in the morning show, and
he can't be in a band anymore.
Yeah, and Craig's fucking his shit up. So
also.
Yeah, and now he wants to go back.
Why do they all have landlines? Everyone has a landline.
What year was it supposed to be?
It's now. They have cell phones.
Now, like
he keeps losing cell phones. And,
I guess he was working for an app company, so yeah.
Yeah, these all apps, but like they all have landlines.
You don't have a phone? No, you're looking at a free.
He's like, "Oh, you have a phone?" He's like, "Of course I have a fucking phone." It's like, uh-huh. So the character changes to like 180, like in a weird way once.
I think he just meant he didn't have a phone on him at that time, and Craig took it to mean he doesn't have a phone at all.
Yeah.
And also, why does Craig keep buying phones? Because he's losing them?
Oh, because he keeps losing them. Yeah. And then that one he throws against the wall and breaks it right after he bought it. He's just like, it's like a recurring motif, the
Toad works in mysterious ways.
Again, like, Groundhog Day. Watch that step. It's a
drop my phone. Fuck.
Kind of like the phone thing. Yeah. But yeah, he's what was I gonna say? I don't know, I can't think.
You were gonna say, let's rate this sucker.
Let's rate this sucker.
Another also like, there's no movies like this. Cable Guy is the same plot.
Cable Guy.
That's what it is. I'm like, what does this movie remind me of? I'm like, okay, it's the same movie as Cable Guy, basically. But
yeah, I haven't seen Cable Guy.
You haven't seen Cable Guy?
No.
It's a very similar premise where Matthew Broderick plays like the nice guy and Jim Carrey is like the psychotic guy that looks for a male friend, and like he latches on and he leads him on for a while, then he turns on him. He's like, I don't want to be friends anymore. He's like, what? And he fucking goes berserk. So it's kind of the same thing to say like he's never seen a movie like this.
Yeah. But instead of still trying to win the friendship, he tries to like ruin his life.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So it becomes like a single white female situation.
Right,
it's like a Cable Guy with Tim Robinson, and like I feel like I sort of mashed my good with bad, so I don't really have to do the whole like what did I like? What I did like it. So that's a hard thing.
It'll come out in
post. I feel like I do need to see it again. I don't know.
Well, why don't you go watch it.
Yeah.
We're gonna hit
Audience at
pause,
home, we're gonna
and
hit
now we're back.
pause.
Brian has watched it twice. Now he's got a good viewpoint on what it's going to be. The grading scale: an A+ for adventuring, and an F- for losing your wife in the sewer. So what do you guys grade this? Who wants to go first?
Well, I'm thinking because I really don't know what I'm going to give this.
Yeah,
Uh,
I think
Teabag.
I think I know his name wasn't Teabag, but it's just fun.
I know,
I
it's
just
still
wanted
funny.
to do it, yeah. Yeah. There's elements of this that I really like. I do like the dark exposing of like male friendships, which are so fraught. You know, I feel like the director was talking about how like work friends will go on a trip together, like we're going to Vegas or whatever, and then like someone you're around with for 4 hours a day suddenly you're around all the time, and you're like, oh, this guy's actually kind of fucked up, you know. uh, you know, like so yeah, like it is a rich area to hit with the narrative, you know, the weird elements of male friendships, and like male loneliness is a theme these days, and it's a theme for a good reason. There are a lot of people that just don't have friends and like lock in on video games and just play online games and fucking don't do shit. So there's a lot of stuff to mine there, and I think he does mine it to an extent where, you know, he goes dark, I think, the whole way, and sprinkles comedy. And I definitely don't think this is like a comedy first comedy. This is like a dark, spiraling the drain, suburban, you know, dead-eyed suburban, you know, dad tale. He throws himself so much into this friend group, you know, like he's like, you accepted me too fast, you can't do that, you know. It's basically like a guy getting broken up with after sleeping with a woman, and then she breaks up with him, and he's like, we just slept together, you can't do that to, like, what the fuck, you know. This is like the dude friendship version of that. It's super uncomfortable, but I really do wish there was more of a tension between the two sides, the two creative forces in this thing. You know, like even Paul Rudd could have, you know, been involved more probably too. And apparently he was. He was like, I'm not in this enough. Can you write more of me in it? Like he used to show up at the very beginning, at the very end. And then the director wrote him in more in the middle so that he'd want to do it. I really feel like it could have used some creative tension, used Tim Robinson more, and have him be more of a creative force, and have more strange and like spots of brightness blast out of it, and it goes back into darkness, and then more spots of bright weird stuff shoots out and then comes back into darkness again, like his sketches. So I feel like he's underutilized, even though it was written for him. I feel like Paul Rudd is underutilized, even though it was written with him in mind. I feel like they just gave too much credence to a first time writer director and let him run the show. And he does a good job, but not a great job. I think the one he directs the best in this whole thing is the wife, is Kate Mara. I think she comes out of this the best. I think really this guy wanted to direct a drama, and but he has a comedy background and was just like, well, it has to be a comedy. Yeah, I think overall it's a good dark exploration of, you know, male friendships and all the weirdness that goes into that. It's a decent character study here and there, but it falls short for me on being funny. Like I didn't think it was that funny. Like some stuff was like really funny, but it was really grim. And the second time I watched it, it was like late at night, and I was like, oh god, I have to go to bed after watching this.
I gotta get some
movie.
friends.
Oh my god. Like it's so fucking depressing to me, man.
Yeah.
And like I said, it's like having your head held in the water for an hour and 45 minutes and not coming up for air ever, except for the toad, you know. So as like an interesting creative idea with some good effort into it, like I would give it a B. I think it's a B on that level. As something I'd want to watch again, like it's probably like a D, because I just don't want to watch it again. It just depresses the fuck out of me, for the most part.
Which one are we putting on the website?
Yeah, well, I'm getting I'm getting there. So I mean, I think I'm gonna say C plus for this one because it did make me laugh sometimes. It did make me think sometimes, but it did feel like a young director trying stuff, and he doesn't yet have his footing yet. I definitely look out for the stuff that this guy does in the future. I think if he does another, feature film,
Hawaiian.
Um,
You have the spreadsheet
I
up?
did. I
C
put
plus
it because I always forget.
he's on it. He's on it.
I would give this. I'm gonna give it a higher grade than I originally thought I would give it. B. Maybe a B plus. I want to say B, but I reserve the right to change it to B plus later upon rewatching, because I think, because to me it feels just like a giant I think you should leave sketch. So, and if I look at it through that lens, I think it is very funny, and I do know that it's something that I will probably quote or something, maybe if only with Joshua or you guys, but it lends itself,
Yeah, it's got
it
quotes
lends
in it.
itself
Yeah,
to be,
yeah.
I thought there were some, I actually thought that it got better the second half, like, because it leaned more into the absurd, of just like the spiral, which I thought was really funny, even though you can kind of see it coming, like, everything that's happening is just like you're
Yeah.
waiting for the next
Yeah, it's
crazy shoot-a-fall in a way. Like, so I found that
yeah.
even funnier of like, okay, here we go. Now we're just gonna go completely absurd. Because at the beginning, I had our time figuring out what this was gonna be. I was like, is this gonna try to be a real movie or have this weird mystic thing to it, kind of? And then it's like, oh no, it's just an absurd fucking movie. Just like there's a billion of these, and the plot really doesn't matter. It's just a vehicle for Tim Robinson to go bananas, and Paul Rudd to be Paul Rudd, playing like this. He always gets to play like the man crush of some guy because he just is so likable, or whatever. So I mean, Paul Rudd doesn't offend me, but it's he plays Paul Rudd in every movie. So it's like,
Yeah,
hey,
yeah.
you gotta, if you cast these two actors, you know exactly what the movie gives you, exactly what you think it's going to be, with a very loose plot. And I sort of disagree on the Kate Mara thing. I think you could have put anyone in there and it wouldn't have really mattered. But also too, it also kind of makes it more unbelievable that it's her in a weird way, because it's like, why would she ever be with fucking Tim Robinson?
Exactly. Yeah.
So again, to the point
Yeah.
where it's like, it's
Why this
absurd,
guy?
but I think it's a
Yeah.
B, just because I do think it is funny. I think just because I find his brand of humor funny. So I feel like it would be doing it a disservice to give it something other than a positive score, because I don't know if I would recommend this to someone that doesn't already have an appetite for his level of comedy, or that audience. But that's the same thing for music, right? Like, I wouldn't recommend albums to somewhere I think they're gonna not like it. So I mean, so it's
Yeah.
one of those type of things where I think this movie knows its audience, probably with the fact that you and your son were the only two people in the entire fucking theater. So if that doesn't say anything, then
Yeah.
that's kind of what it is. But if this is your brand of comedy, or let's pull out the old chestnut, if this is in your Q zone, then yeah, I think this is, I guarantee you Joshua's going to give this a high rating. So I'm giving it a B.
You don't know my schedule.
Yeah.
Yeah, I give it a B. I think it's definitely worth a rewatch. Maybe not anytime soon, but I think it'll grow on me. I already know it'll grow on me.
I found this delightfully depressing. I mean, I saw it 3 times, and I saw it with 3 different friend groups.
Yeah.
One-on-one with a good friend, and then a late night inebriated in a different city with a bunch of friends, just out at night. We stumbled into an art house theater.
Good
And
hang.
the first, like the first, yeah, it was a good hang. The first viewing, it was literally just like me, my buddy Larry, and like 2 other people down in the front row, and that was here in Chicago. And then the second time, it was like about middle of the road. It was like an art house theater in the middle of the night. There were maybe like 20 people there. And then the third time was at the Music Box here in Chicago, packed house.
Oh wow. Yeah.
Packed, every single seat taken. So 3 different experiences, but I enjoyed it every time. I came away with something a little different every single time. It is exactly in my Q zone. The only thing that really does not work for me, and I've said this before, is the relationship. And I would go so far as to say his entire family. It's
Yeah.
as if he's alien
He is
that has been
fucking
plopped
alien.
down into that. There's no
That's
way
exactly right.
he married her.
No.
He had that kid.
No.
He raised that kid.
No.
That kid turned out the way he is with Craig Waterman
No.
being Craig Waterman. None of it works.
No.
It makes a little more, it makes more sense if like as a stepson or something.
Yeah. There's no possible angle other than like massive traumatic brain injury that changes his personality
Yeah.
a year before the events of this movie that explain how he got to where he is with that
A
family.
railroad spike. If a railroad spike was sticking out of his cranial, his frontal
And you're
lobe.
like, oh, yeah, this is tragic because maybe he was cool before, but now he's him.
It was the railroad spike. What can you do?
So in that regard, that was hard to sustain disbelief because the whole time you're like, this doesn't work.
No.
It's just a setup. It's just it's people for him to riff off of. It's people for him to like for the jokes, to, like the setup for the situations, in order to like move it along a little bit.
It's
but
people for him to lose. Like they set up people for him to lose. Yeah.
The stakes for his behavior. But I agree with you, Greg, about like it's commentary on like male loneliness in these days. It did provide good reflection, I think, for like, hey, what's the states of my friendships? And I think it's a good, you can read into it what you like, and you can debate whether you think that's a overblown or not, and whether that exists on the female side as well. But I think there are, at least I agree with you, in modern day males are not encouraged to have this level of friendship with each other. Like when they start singing, like you're like, there's no friend groups that do this.
I know.
Like, this is like the platonic ideal for friends that doesn't really exist. And if my friends just started singing, like and like looking each other in the eyes after a serious conversation, like that, no.
I know.
And Craig's the only one at that moment where the audience like is like, I'm with you, Craig.
Yeah.
Like he's like, what the fuck is going on?
Why are they all...
Yeah.
Except for him, it's like shooting
except for him,
in
he's
his
like,
head where he's like,
yeah,
I belong.
Actually, no, I don't. That would be awkward and really weird if that actually happened in real life. But I digress. I feel like it is very divisive. I would not recommend this to anybody who isn't already well acquainted with I Think You Should Leave, or I think would be open to that kind of humor, because I think it would be and I have friends in the friend group who were like, I didn't like it at all. I hated every second of it, and hates I Think You Should Leave, but likes Detroiters because it's a better plot.
Okay.
And the characters are actually, you can follow them throughout.
It's like more mainstream or something.
It's honestly, it's the same kind of jokes. It's just more believable characters. They're not all pod people from outer space. So I give it an A- for me as a viewer. It is depressing, but it's funny enough to keep me coming back, and I will probably watch it with some regularity. It's not like my favorite movie ever or anything like that. I do not think it's the funniest movie ever. Again, I don't even think it's in the highest echelons of what's available from Tim Robinson. But I did think it was good. It was a good first outing for a director. It definitely is. I agree. It's a first outing, but if it not a home run, at least maybe a double. It's pretty good. I'll take that.
Would you call it a comedy?
Definitely, absolutely. This is a comedy with dramatic aspects to it, as opposed to a dramatic or
I feel like
a drama with
squarely a dark
to it,
comedy. I feel like you would pin this as, but that's interesting. Greg's take on that. It does think it's
but that's art, baby.
I know. I think
that's art.
It's similar, but yeah, I just don't think it's as well done as a Chekhov play. But I mean, that's a very high bar.
All right. What are we doing next week? We are watching, so it's a rando, but then the old Rabbit Fires Rando 5000. There are 40.
I feel like we should build like a real randomizer. Maybe I'll do that.
Some of them are albums too. Yeah.
It's a spreadsheet. It is. It's a real randomizer.
Noises and lights and a dashboard.
Number 7. Oh, fuck you.
Yeah.
Steely Dan, Aja.
We can skip that if you want. I feel like the music.
No.
No, we'll have to do it.
Let's
It's no
let's
further
get it off the list.
But I feel like
Let's get
albums,
it off
no
the
one
list.
likes doing them.
Yeah.
So let's. You're like, well, and that was the end of the podcast, guys.
Stay curious.
Riding the bus to work, reading cartoons in Newsweek magazine, listening to Massive Attack.
Toad works in mysterious ways.